This is me begging my camera to work. Alright. Today, just a quick video about Flatlands, Flat Earth, and the Mandela effect. Now, your first question is probably, what do these three things have in common? Everything, and nothing. We live in a fractal reality. That is, we live in a fractal reality. And patterns that tend to be true in one place tend to be true in other places, or as Thoth Hermigrandy would say, as above, so below. So, before I show you my art, I want to warn you that I am amazing. I am Picasso. I am to art what Kanye West is to music. Behold my drawings. And welcome to Flatlands. Flatlands is an old idea. It's certainly not my idea. Old sci-fi book, I'm pretty sure. It's about a two-dimensional universe where it's just like our universe, except there's only two dimensions. People live on a flat plane. Now, notice these people, they live on a flat surface. I have to estimate because my camera has stopped giving a damn what I'm actually doing here. Notice the distant buildings are perfectly, straight because they live on a flat surface. As opposed to the people in these flatlands, they live on a curved surface, and from their standpoint, distant buildings are tilted away. So, if you see distant buildings tilted away from you, you live on a curved surface. If you see distant buildings going straight up and down, you live on a flat surface. But that's all I'm going to say about Flat Earth today. Because really what I want to talk about is the Mandela effect and the changes. Because the whole point of Flatlands is illustrating how people living in a two-dimensional reality would not be able to perceive three-dimensional objects properly. In fact, their entire worldview is two-dimensional. Kind of hard to see, literally. So, if a three-dimensional object comes into Flatlands, well, you and I can see it's obviously a coffee cup. What Flatland sees, brace yourself for amazing special effects here. Special effects that will hopefully stand up to scrutiny, also physically. What Flatlanders would see when the coffee cup passes through is just a wee bit of it. Now, if you're wondering what the noise in the background is, my neighbor's been doing construction for a long time. If that object were to rotate, were to shift, it's not really noticeable in the two dimensions. I am turning the cup, and you can't really see, unless when my fingers slip in there, until the cup is rotated a certain amount. And then, obviously, even in the two dimensions, you can see that something's changed. And I believe this is, I don't want to say an explanation for the Mandela effect, but it is what is causing the Mandela effect, because the changes we have seen are thematic. Lots of suns and skies and clouds and, God imagery and lots about fathers and sons. I mean, there's thematic changes. There's not butterfly effect changes. So the best way I feel to explain those changes is that same rotation of the object, but since it is, of course, a 4+ dimensional object, and we are in 3 dimensions, 3 plus 1, however you want to look at it. So, what's causing the changes is basically a rotation of the energies, because the correct way to look at this reality is symbolic, and I think the changes we've seen with the Mandela effect is a giant indication that that is true. When these energies are being shifted, and the changes are affecting physicality regardless of location. So obviously, location and physicality of the objects is not what's important. If we were only seeing localized changes, different story, but that's not what we're seeing. So that doesn't explain the Mandela effect. It just kind of pushes the question back. I always get a little annoyed with spirituality. That whole "we are all one" saying. It's a lovely sentiment. It's a lovely idea, but it doesn't answer anything. In fact, it's like when you're a kid and your parent says, "Because I'm the parent," you're like, well, that doesn't answer anything. it's just pushing things back. And so in a way, we all stem from one source. There is the God force in the middle of a beautiful fractal. And when I'm saying that all things are fractal earlier, that does include us ourselves. We are fractal beings. And being in this reality is a chance for us to experience what I can only refer to as our lower self. So what's causing the changes? We are. From outside, from above, our higher selves are realigning these energies. And it's a two-way street, the best I can tell. They're doing what they can to show us, once again, this reality is not what you're told. This reality is only barely what it seems. But at the same time, they're also patiently waiting for you to tune in, talk back, know that they're there, feel the energy around you. Whatever little bits of spirituality, of expanding your consciousness works for you, it works for them. It's a great thing about spirituality. You don't need religion, you don't need rules, you need to listen to the answers that come from the silence. I mean, that is, it's a line I've shamelessly stolen from Akon, but trust the answers that come from the silence. Because that is your higher self trying to tell you things. And it is possible for individuals to cause these changes, not necessarily directly, but after my crazy desert adventure, a year and 3 months and something. Well, two things. I noticed personally I had a lot more gray in my beard suddenly, and my eyes turned very blue, and they'd always been more hazel. But I was also watching Futurama that night, and I noticed a lot of the background characters were colored differently, and one of the episodes actually had a slight dialogue change. It was where Nibbler's in the pet show. The line was Taronga Leela and her mystery pet, and it changed to just Leela and her mystery pet. And I'm an obsessive Futurama fan, so I noticed that. So yeah, I do believe it is possible for individuals in either gradual or extreme moments are able to themselves cause these changes, and maybe more advanced individuals could even focus what they wanted those changes to be. Reality is magic. That's my spiel. It's nice to see you, internets. I hope to be seeing a bit more of you. Stay tuned. Be well. I love you all. Boop.